Terry, we appreciate you giving us a few minutes as we continue to learn more about this story. First, I just want to ask you, Terry, you're a guy who took great pride in managing players, not just to go out there and win games, but you want to make them grow as individuals and as players. You hear this news about Matt Harvey and what he's going through and all that's come out now with that testimony. How do you feel when you hear that stuff?
Well, when I first heard it today, I got a call, and first I was very disappointed, but not shocked. There was a lot of speculation when Matt was in New York from guys who were around him that he was on something at some of the time when we were in New York. And I heard players talk about it once in a while. I actually had a player in my office one day who was having an issue, and I was talking to him, and he said, well, I'm not doing what Matt Harvey's doing. And I said, well, this isn't about Matt Harvey. It's about you. So it was out that there was issues, but we did what we thought we had to do to try to get him some help. And obviously, Matt's got to be accountable for his actions.
Were there particular incidents where you did try to get him some help? Anything that you could think of in particular? Yeah,
there was, we missed a game, and, when we had an exhibition game in Las Vegas, and Matt didn't make it to the park in time. And when he came in, he was extremely, extremely depressed, and I immediately turned it over to the professional psychologist that we have on staff, and had him deal with it. And then later on, as you guys know, the story of him missing the game in New York at one time. And again, that was handed over to the professionals. And, it's going to go down as one of the real sad stories certainly in my managing career.
How do you balance it, Terry? I mean, you had a team certainly in 2015. You went to the World Series. Harvey, a huge part of that. You know what he meant to this city. I mean, he took the city by storm. And meanwhile, maybe there were some rumors and rumblings, but the majority of people don't know really what's going on. You're trying to win ball games, go win a World Series. You're dealing with your star pitcher who's potentially got a drug problem. How are you balancing that out while trying to get him out, but also trying to win some ball games?
Well, again, when Matt first got to the big leagues, he had a sense about him, and I'm sure if Rec was there at the time, he can answer these. But Matt was a perfect guy, fit right in. He was the ideal rookie. He sat in the corner, didn't say anything. The veterans loved him. He went out, he pitched lights out. And in 15, you remember, that's when he made the statement that he didn't want to pitch. He wanted to be careful about innings limits because, he didn't want to have any more injuries. And yet at the end of the season, he came into my office. He said, I'm done with that. I want to pitch. And you saw the results. He pitched brilliantly. And now 2 years later, he lost 25 or 30 pounds, and he wasn't pitching very good. And I called him in and I said, what happened to that guy? I want that guy that pitched in 2015, that 245-pound beast that was out there. And he talked about how it was important to him to stay in, get in better shape. And certainly now we look back, and certainly there were signs that we should have addressed some things.
He's a guy that reached the highest of highs in this town, and the lows continue to get lower. How much do you think that this issue with Harvey might have impacted him? I mean, talking about the peak of the sport to this fall off.
Well, it impacted him a lot. I don't think there's any question about it. And, you see it, you hear about it, you read about it. New York's the greatest city in the world. And there's a lot of guys, when you're a star in New York, you're big. And to become a star there is great, but to be able to maintain it is what you do on the field. And I think Matt got caught up on stuff off the field. We certainly addressed it. I called the guy that dealt with it more than anybody on our team, and David Wright. I had David talk to him, gave one of the best synopsis of how to behave in New York to Matt, and said, I was 21, good-looking guy, but you got to go. It's about playing. It's about doing your job. And certainly, there's no question his off-the-field stuff hurt him a lot. There was a time when we all thought this guy was going to be the best pitcher in baseball. And certainly, to become a star and to try to be a star in New York took him down.